I was a reluctant iPad purchaser, but today, as a traveling artist, it's kind of the only drawing tablet that I really need. There are a few extra things though that make it all possible. Let's chat about them. Hey, Ryan here. So I travel with a ridiculous amount of gear, at least 4 different drawing tablets. Because of what I do here on YouTube and my day job, testing painting software across devices, it's just what I have to do. But when I'm packing things, getting ready to travel, I can't help but fantasize about a much simpler setup. And that's where the iPad Pro comes in. But buying one of these is not something that you do all willy-nilly. They're not cheap, right? As something that is geared, I suppose, more for a professional user. When I was looking into getting a mobile tablet, I wasn't quite so sure that I wanted to spend that much. So why did I end up going with the iPad Pro? There are 2 reasons. Number 1, power and portability. I needed something that was standalone because I knew I'd be doing some long travel stints, and I wanted something more compact than my laptop and Intuos Pro combo that could still handle doing larger, more detailed paintings. And I wanted something that I could continue working on even when load shedding kicked in. That's scheduled rolling blackouts in South Africa that often wouldn't follow the schedule. There was one thing that was missing at the time though when it comes to drawing, and that was pencil hover. I had to do without it for a couple of years until I upgraded later, and it's made a huge difference. Number 2, versatility. I wanted this not only for drawing, but to be able to consume content, to be able to continue writing my articles, effectively use the iPad as a replacement for my laptop when needed. But what really ups the versatility factor is being able to use this as an extended display or even as a drawing tablet together with my laptop, which we're going to get into shortly. To really tap into all of this, a few extra purchases were needed. First is a screen protector. Drawing on glass with the hard plastic tip of the Apple Pencil is not to my liking at all. The pen takes a bit more effort to control with such smooth materials. So I've been using a Paperlike screen protector here to add a bit more texture to the surface and a bit more control to the drawing experience. I've used this on both of my iPad Pros over the years, and it works great for me. Secondly, I need a good case for when I chuck this in my bag for trips, and something that is sturdy enough to use as a stand when I'm drawing. What I have here is the MOFT Dynamic Folio, which MOFT sent over for me to test out. It's a really cool origami-inspired folio case that feels really good in the hands and is absurdly thin, adding only 300 grams on top of the 680 of the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil. More important though is the range of angles that this offers, like this 60-degree theater mode, which works well for watching videos or using the iPad as a second screen next to my laptop. Unlike many folding cases, here we actually have a bit of elevation too. It's a quick flip from that into the elevated 30-degree creation mode, as they call it. Maybe it's fine for taking notes or showing something to a person opposite you, but for drawing, it's pretty wobbly. So instead, there's this interesting low-angle dual-screen mode, where I can pop my phone over here to watch a lecture, follow a tutorial, or catch up on some anime. It's pretty neat. But what works best for me is a slight variation of this, which gives a slightly steeper drawing angle. Or wait, maybe this one rather. Flipping around that theater mode and then down, I can still put my phone over here. Of course, what you lack in these positions is a little bit of that elevation, some space between the bottom of the tablet and your table surface. There's more though. You also have some portrait orientation options for reading, or even having a vertical second screen if you prefer. There's even this neat pencil holder that they sent me, which clips magnetically between the case and the back of the iPad, and it places the pencil perfectly for it to charge up while not in use. I've been using the MOFT Float Folio that I bought over a year ago, and I've loved using this, especially for that elevated 90-degree mode. But with all the variety that the Dynamic Folio offers, I think I'm going to be sticking with this. If you want to know more about it, or you're interested to get one for yourself, check the discount link in the description of this video. Thank you to MOFT for sending this over. Alright, the third thing is an app. I've been talking about using this as a drawing tablet together with my Windows laptop, but how exactly is that possible? That's where Astropad comes in. It turns the iPad into a wired or wireless mirror display that fully supports the Apple Pencil, including pressure, tilt, hover, double tap, and barrel rotation. It's highly customizable by letting you adjust the pen pressure curve, add on-screen shortcut buttons, similar to what you might get through the Wacom custom menus, and set custom gestures too. What I really appreciate about Astropad is how proactive they are with development when a new feature for the iPad or Apple Pencil rolls out. They really didn't take long at all to build in support for pencil hover, for example. And they actively reached out to artists as well to find ways to improve their software for 3D workflows. Okay, so a mirror display is not really what I want though. I need to be able to extend my display, and for that, I need this, the Lunar Display dongle. Plug this in here, and now I can use my laptop screen for reference, hosting calls or live streams while I draw on the iPad in my desktop software. This does, however, add quite a lot to an already pretty pricey bit of hardware. Not everyone is going to be willing to pay the fee for this, and also not everyone is going to need something quite so feature-rich with this level of customization. For a simpler, more affordable option, take a look at Easy Canvas 2025. I have dedicated videos for that and Astropad, which I'll link at the end of the video. Then there are some extras. Apart from a drawing glove or a pen grip that turns my Apple Pencil into a hot dog, I also want to be able to have easy access to my keyboard shortcuts. I could, of course, use a wireless keyboard, but this 8-bit Do Micro is just so much cuter. Here I have 16 buttons, which cover my most used shortcuts, and of course I can use it for some light gaming too when I'm taking a break. But when it's time to get serious, it might not be enough. Instead, I might go with this. This is the Tourbox Lite, which I can hook up to my computer along with the iPad next to it. But then there is also the Tourbox Elite Plus, which is compatible both with computer and iPad OS. It costs quite a bit more, but going with this, I can use it in whichever mode I'm in, laptop or tablet, and it will speed up whatever creative tasks I'm busy with. So wrapping up, I want to point out a couple of things. When I've reviewed smaller display tablets, I've mentioned how I typically prefer something a bit bigger than 13 inches, but I have worked comfortably with this size for quite a while, and it works well for the current travel mode that I'm in. I just need to be a little more mindful of my posture. It wasn't perfect for me yet either when I purchased my first iPad Pro in 2020. This has all gotten better over time thanks to upgrading to a new model and purchasing a few additional things. And I do acknowledge that the upfront cost of all of these things together is perhaps a bit unreasonable for a lot of people, even for myself, if I'm honest. In my case, this has been a combination of costs spread out over time and also some products being provided to me through the work that I do. It depends on where you're at. There are more affordable approaches, and iPad isn't the only option for this kind of versatility. Since getting that first iPad Pro, we've seen some really solid Android tablets come onto the market. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S Ultras, for example, could just as easily satisfy my needs. But the tablet doesn't need to be that strong or as expensive. Looking at the Galaxy Tab S9 FE, for example, you got a really good sized tablet at half the price. And Easy Canvas works with that too. What you probably won't find as easily though is a folding case that is this cool. But what do you think? Do you have any essential things for your iPad setup? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna head out and do some painting. Ciao for now.